2414 is a podcast about finding hope and common ground through casual conversation. Like the friends on the road in the New Testament, in Luke chapter 24, verse 14, we want to walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. Thanks for walking with us.
There it is. Hey, welcome to 2414. We are back. I am back after a brief hiatus of 9 weeks or so, called Lent and, I don't know, life. I'm sitting across from my friend and co-host Shane and co-worker and brother in Christ. We are joined today by Dave Gallagher, the vicar. Just the vicar.
The vicar.
Maybe we'll say the vicar. And Brenda, the expectant mother.
Yeah.
Among other things.
Among other things.
Thanks for being here, you guys.
Yeah.
Dave, are you playing solitaire? What are you doing?
I just took a picture and sent it off to people in the know.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
Yep.
This is happening live. Welcome to the three of you, viewers and listeners alike. I'm glad we're here together. Our podcast is very simple. We like to laugh. We like to share real life and have some conversation. So that's what we're going to do. Today, we're going to do a round of highs and lows. The four of us will share joys and challenges from the last 5 minutes or 5 days, whatever it looks like. We'll play a round or two of Outburst because it's Outburst and it's good. And then we're going to cut our vibrant conversation deck, draw a card, and see where the conversation takes us. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
All right,
Dan.
Ladies first, Brenda. Lows and highs, or would you rather go last and have more time to think?
Oh, I can go first.
Okay.
My high was this weekend. Had a lot of time outside. It was really nice weather, and my husband Adam and I celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary a little bit early. So we, it's hard with a 1-year-old to make a plan for a date, but figured 5 years is significant. So I made a reservation and found a babysitter, and we went to a seafood place that's nearby, Duke's. We hadn't been there, and it was delicious. We sat outside. It was beautiful. And we had that space for unhurried conversation.
Hey-o.
And it felt way more relaxed than it has been for a while. And we've been trying to figure out a name for the second baby. So we got a lot closer than we have every time I've been asking, so what should it be? And we're coming up with different combinations. We don't get anywhere, but we actually got somewhere having that date time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm honored that Daniel's in the running. So that says a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so that's my high. It was a really good weekend with Adam and time with friends. I think I saw all three of you at different points during the weekend outside of church, so that was good. My low is my stepmom is not doing great health-wise. She's still kind of recovering from breast cancer and double mastectomy and all of that. So it's slow healing, and she has a lot of ups and downs. We saw her recently. We went to see my family for Memorial Day weekend, and even then she couldn't really pick up our son. Like, it was too hard for her. So she's using a walker right now and needs a lot of bed rest. So I'm just kind of praying that there's answers for her and what recovery is going to look like long term. So that's a low.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. I'm sorry. Vicar. By the way, people who are watching or listening, a vicar in the Lutheran tradition is like an intern, is a pastor in training.
Intern.
Yeah, a student pastor, somebody who's sort of involved in ministry but getting education. And so we had an episode on it a while ago. You can go back and look at that. But Dave, glad you're here. Highs, lows, how are things?
This is week one of part-time in my day job and being open and available more for ministry. So today's, I am not working what I've been doing for the last 30 years in healthcare. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool transition point. So, got to have lunch and talk about some stuff. And I just kind of feel like, wow, this is cool. I think I'm a little geeky about this. So that's my high.
I think most of us get excited about what we do some of the time. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of the time. No, for me, I'm very thankful for what I get to do, even though there are certainly burdens and challenges and frustrations. It's pretty cool. Like, I love these people, and this is what I get to do.
Yeah, exactly. The low, my beautiful wife Lori's mother, my mother-in-law, is older and going through some health issues, and so Lori's going to go down to see her, and it's just a challenging, sad time for her to work through all that. So I grieve with her, but I'm going to be back here taking care of stuff. So yeah, similar.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Dave.
Yeah.
Shane Welter, lows, highs, also high.
Also high.
Hey.
Low, maybe two parts. Shared a little bit of it already, but Lauren and I had to take a home buyers class to be eligible for like down payment assistant programs for first time home buyers. So you had to attend like a 5-hour class to be like get the certificate to prove that you're eligible or something like that.
Okay.
And the class just ripped my soul or the souls out of our body. No. It was just so boring, and it was a Zoom. God bless the people who like have to do it, because I bet they know that nobody cares.
It's just a hoop.
It's just a hoop, and like they have to do it because the state, pays money because they want people to live in their state and buy homes and be invested in their state, and so it makes sense. But the class itself, oh man, it's just it was just so boring.
Did you learn anything of use?
I learned about some programs that we're not eligible for.
Okay,
because
good.
we don't fit the criteria. So that was probably it.
Okay.
We just did it purely for the certificate.
Yep.
No other reason. So that wasn't fun, but we had to do it, and it wasn't like terrible. It was just like. It was like a kid again. I was just like, I'm so bored. Like,
and it's a Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was a 5 hours straight, just boom. But we got it done. I'm glad it's that, and not like 1 hour for like 5 weeks. So we got it done. My high is bluegrass music. I shared probably a few episodes ago. I've been listening to a new artist I really love. I can't like fully condone his music on the podcast.
Yep.
But he's a bluegrass musician, and he's like kind of the new face of it, or like, the kind of next generation of bluegrass music. Just an incredible flat picker, and I've been listening to a lot of him. He's been inspiring me, so I've been I've been learning like bluegrass guitar, and it's been a really good like discipline recently to like just sit down, practice, just kind of slowly going through these scales and other kind of licks and bluegrass, and it's been really fun. I definitely get distracted both at home and at work. I'll just like the guitar is right next to me, so I'm like, oh, this website's loading, and I'm just kind of playing stuff in my office.
And I can tell you from a staff perspective, Shane's been wearing a lot more overalls and straw hats to the office.
That's right. That's right.
That's a noticeable change.
I'm a man. Got my banjo ready. I've been telling Lauren.
Accents are never appropriate, Shane.
Southern. It's American.
I'm not sure that makes a difference.
All right. I've been telling Lauren, I kind of wish I had a Southern accent sometimes. A lot of my dad's side of the family does. Because they say Washington, and like, oh, hi, darling, Washington.
There's no such thing as a Southern accent. Like, there's Texas, there's South Texas, there's Georgia, there's Virginia.
And it doesn't make any more sense. Oh, I've seen this advertised, but Wenatchee's like super far north, right?
We went there. It was great. They have a whole bunch of teachings and music playing. You would love it. You would love it if you like bluegrass. Yeah.
Dave was just showing me an ad for like Wenatchee Bluegrass Festival.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm getting distracted. I could talk for about 6 hours about bluegrass at this point. So that's my high. Recently.
Okay.
That would be, for some people, like taking a home buying class.
Having to listen to blues.
So those people already didn't have a soul.
Wow.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
This isn't our actual topic today, but I want to pause and go back to something you said, Shane. That was actually, I think, really insightful. I want to celebrate it.
Okay.
So there's this artist that you don't endorse all of their music, but like you see much value.
I can't endorse.
Right. But what I just want to celebrate is that's a good and beautiful thing that we can take to friends and families and neighbors and politicians and all kinds of stuff to say, I don't have to agree with everything. I don't have to like everything. And yet I can still find goodness and value and like commend things in them without being on board of everything. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds like little, but I think the world will be a better place if we did that. Hey, I can say yes and no.
Yeah.
And we can still go have a coffee. So that's beautiful.
People don't have to be your enemies. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do it with musicians. We could probably do it with our neighbors.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just crazy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. So, what are your highs and lows?
Oh, thanks for asking. Low. I'm irritable.
Like
Say
right
it
now?
with a smile.
Just in general.
Sorry, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's a
Usually
wrap.
confessions are not on the microphone.
Yeah, no, there's something about public. No, public sins can be confessed publicly. That's okay. No, I'm impatient and easily annoyed, and I'm aware. Or maybe I'm becoming more impatient because I'm like low on sleep or getting grumpier, or maybe I'm just more like self-aware of, oh, that's not godly or loving to have that response. So maybe the win is I'm growing in like emotional intelligence, but the cost is I'm more aware of when I'm feeling ungracious or unkind. And not just I'm more aware, like my kids and my wife are certainly more aware. So that doesn't feel good.
Do you feel like God's trying to make you grow in patience?
I need to mortify the flesh, as the old theologians used to say. Like, put to death that old sinful nature and not be driven by me all the time. A couple highs though. One related. I found a new little like 12-minute podcast. I forgot what it's called now. Something like the Daily Liturgy. It's put on by a church in Omaha, Nebraska. And it's like a 12-minute podcast every single morning where they have an opening prayer, an Old Testament reading, a prayer of confession, a New Testament reading, a little reflection on it, and a psalm, and then like a benediction. And their benediction's cool because it's it's similar to what we would say, but Paul says, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God the Father, and the Holy Spirit be with us until the day of Christ's return. And it's like, that little line adds so much. But this podcast has a nice little like prayer of repentance each one. And today was something along the lines of like, I'm sorry for basically like making my pleasure an idol, like thinking I should be served by everyone all the time. Yeah. So it was good and convicting. So that's a little high, that little podcast. The other high, super silly, we're going to link it below, is Charlotte and I discovered Red Bull, like the energy drink racing, they put on a variety of soapbox races around the world every year. And somebody on YouTube, probably Red Bull, put together 100 greatest soapbox races in Red Bull history. It's a 2-hour video. I literally am wiping tears away from my eyes watching these ridiculous cars and this Englishman giving commentary. It's incredible. And I don't think there's anything inappropriate. So I'm going to go ahead and say, even though I'm only 2/3 of the way through, full endorsement.
Full endorsement. You heard it here, folks.
And remind me with a soapbox, is that when you
people
have
are building their own things?
their cardboard box that you're
Sort of.
building?
People
Okay.
build their own. Some are elaborate, like floats, and some are like a unicycle with, Homer
Say
Simpson
that
head
word
on.
again.
Unicycle?
Okay.
That's not what you said.
That's not. Okay.
I was just going to let that be out.
I wasn't.
Shane will not.
These are my friends. You talk dumb.
In my head, I was unicycle.
Bicycle?
Bicycle.
All right. So Red Bull top 100 soapbox cars. If you type in 100 Red Bull soapbox, it'll be the first thing. It's about 2 hours long. You're welcome.
All right.
It's so good. I've watched almost the whole thing with Charlotte. I'm going to watch it again with my kids.
I'm gonna watch it again.
I'm going to watch it again. It's so good. So that's been a big high this week.
Can't wait to hear about the highlights.
I could talk about it for the rest of this episode.
We got bluegrass and Red Bull. What else do you guys need?
I was just thinking about it. It's so good. All right.
No.
What game are we playing here?
We're gonna play a round of Outburst.
There we go.
That's not Outburst.
That's not the Outburst sound. Okay. So here's the game of Outburst.
It is.
I'm going to read the category. Brenda, Dave, Shane, and I are going to verbally explode into our microphones. We're going to say all the things that we can think of that relate to this category. We're going to write some of them down for review purposes. And our goal is to come up with the same 10 things that some guy in Indiana in his basement with a set of encyclopedias 48 years ago came up with.
Yeah.
This isn't fact checked. There were not 100 people surveyed. It was just some dude who came up with a list of topics and then came up with 10 things within those topics. And all of these things came about before Brenda and Shane existed.
Yeah.
So we do great in this game.
Yeah.
You do about as well as the rest of us.
Just remember, culturally what's happening in the 80s.
So
Germany is 2 countries. So we're remembering this in case it comes up again.
Brenda is going to flip our timer. I'm going to read it once. I'm going to read it again. Brenda's going to flip the timer. We're going to say things aloud. We're going to write them down. Play along at home. This, friends, might be the moment where you meet your new best friend. If you are at Starbucks, tap the person on the shoulder next to you. Say, hey, do you got a minute? I need your help with this. And you can
share a headphone with me.
Yeah, you can share a headphone. Give them one of your buds. You can put it on speakerphone. Maybe this is just a whole communal thing. Your community is going to come together over this. And this is going to be your origin story. If you're driving, I strongly suggest pulling over. Be safe.
Putting a lot of weight on this card,
safe.
whatever this
Be safe. All right, our first card for the day is, make sure it's appropriate. Okay. Abraham Lincoln, and then in parentheses it says the basics. Okay. Abraham Lincoln, the basics.
And go.
Illinois.
16th president.
Beard.
Logs.
Top hat.
Beard.
Top hat.
Penny. $5 bill.
Tall.
Springfield.
Memorial.
Log cabin.
Assassinated.
Gettysburg.
Civil War.
President.
John Wilkes Booth.
Lawyer.
Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Lumberjack.
Civil War.
Failed politician. He got unelected a whole bunch.
Did you put lawyer?
No, but somebody else said that.
I did
not say that.
I said lawyer. What's the
Train.
Illinois where he's from? Is it
Springfield. I
Springfield?
said that.
Oh, okay.
Gettysburg Address. Did we say that?
I said Gettysburg, but Gettysburg Address.
That's good.
Both.
Emancipation Proclamation. Come on, people.
Nice.
Civil War.
1800s.
What was
19th
Todd was
century.
his son. What was Mary Todd?
Lincoln.
Mary Todd.
Some just
Bow
call
tie.
her Mrs. Lincoln.
Okay, Mrs. Lincoln and
And time.
Woo!
Okay.
4
Gallagher. Pens down.
people on that one.
How many do you think we got, Dave?
Out of
the
10.
10.
I played this before. 3.
Oh, so no.
You know how it goes.
All right, Brenda.
I'm going to say 5.
Oh, you guys stink. Shane.
I'll say 6. I don't think we said the vice president, did we?
Nobody knows,
He was president.
right? But
I just don't remember.
Was that the time when just like whoever got the second amount of votes became
No.
the vice president?
Thomas Jefferson got rid of that.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say perfect 10.
Yeah, I'm saying 6.
Okay.
So
No confidence.
saying 6.
All right.
I'll put mine here.
3. All right, you guys are all gonna eat humble pie in a second here.
I don't
Number 1. Oh, we snuck this
The
one.
basics.
Oh, we did not get 10. All right.
Come on.
Number 1, Mary Todd Lincoln.
Yay!
We
1
said
for
that.
1. Number 2, assassinated. We said that.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Did you?
Yes, I wrote. Look, you can see right there, Brenda.
There were so many verbal
that what
explosions.
that
I didn't.
says?
Yes, right before John Wilkes Booth. I wrote assassinated.
All right, nice.
Number 3, lawyer. It says country lawyer, but
That
lawyer.
counts.
We said
Lawyer.
lawyer.
Good lawyer.
Let's go.
We did not get this one. I don't know what this one. The rail splitter.
Oh, yeah.
Was that
Was
meaning
his
like
nickname?
a moderate candidate, or what does that mean?
No, well, I believe he was splitting. Didn't you say
We look at
chopping
Dave
logs?
like he was there. Dave, you're old. Tell us about the rail splitter.
Dave, the Canadian. Tell us about American history. Okay, I'm just gonna let it go.
Does anybody what rail splitter means? That to me sounds like I'm a moderate candidate.
It also just sounds like a nickname for Lincoln too. I don't know.
Or something about log chopping and
transcontinental railway.
Okay, we did not get the rail splitter. Number 5, Civil War.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 6, Gettysburg Address.
Yes.
Number 7, Freed the Slaves.
I was thinking something with slavery.
I said Emancipation Proclamation.
That's what that means, right?
We got that.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did not get the next one, the Lincoln-Douglas debates.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
They were good.
Which I want to pause and celebrate. That was a time in American history when people could talk to each other, even if they disagreed, and they would debate the actual topic for hours and not just make straw men. And if they didn't cover the topic, we better come back tomorrow because this deserves more conversation. Like,
It's beautiful.
What a crazy thing to think about. So we didn't get that. Number 9, Illinois.
Yeah.
Yep.
And number 10, his beard.
So we got 8.
Wow.
8.
That's pretty good.
That's almost a record.
That's
I don't know what a
I'm
record
proud
is.
of that. I'm proud of that.
Take it at 8.
I'd like to also comment for those of you just listening. Brenda, who started with a half a piece of paper, used about a 15th of it. Dave got a half piece of paper and equally used all of it. I started with the full piece of paper and also used all of it.
Contained.
and Shane used about an 1/8 of his full piece of paper.
Yeah.
Brenda could play 15 more rounds on her sheet.
And I'd be ready for it.
I'm already like, I can't read mine. Okay, one more.
Good job. Yeah.
Okay.
That was great.
That one might not. I don't know. Okay, we're just here we go. Brenda, you ready for the timer?
I'm ready.
Listeners, are you ready?
Here we go.
Yes.
Beard.
Things used by a manicurist. Things used by a manicurist.
And
File.
go. Nail polish remover.
Nail clipper.
Bucket.
Nail polish. Water. Soap.
Gossip.
Nail polish remover. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little table.
The cuticle stick thing where they push
Cuticle
it back.
stick.
What's
The little
thing?
scissors.
What's the
Emery
thing
board.
What's the thing you put your hand in there and
The UV light
UV
thing.
light?
A fan to dry it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Regular polish.
Did you say nail
gel
polish? Yeah.
Towel.
Yep.
Okay. Tip jar.
Base. We said. I'm just say basin. in case-
Lotion.
Lotion.
I just want to ask as we're going through this.
No, we don't have
masseuse. I don't know.
How
Hot
many manicures
stones.
have you had?
I don't know.
Rubber. Do they use gloves?
Sometimes.
Okay, I think gloves would be appropriate.
If it's crazy enough, it'll be on there. Assistant or the worker.
Google.
a chair. A table.
Chair, table. I like it.
A lamp. Come on, Dave.
Totally.
And
File?
time. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't write anything down, but I remember what it
Brenda,
said.
how many do you think we got?
I think that we got 8 for this one. I think we matched the last
More
one.
manicures than Abraham Lincoln facts.
Did you
No,
hear
that's
how many
equal
answers
to.
I threw out there? How much I
Equal
verbally
to.
exploded? Yeah.
That was impressive. Okay, Gallagher,
3.
3.
Yeah, I'll say 4. I feel like it's gonna say products of the 18 or
Like
the
Revlon.
80s. Yeah, yeah,
1880s?
Oh.
What did you say?
Maybelline.
yeah. 1800. I want to say 1800s. Yeah, it's gonna be product names. That's
I'm going to say 5.
Hoover vacuum. Like
We'll see.
Things used by a manicurist. If you played along at home, let us know how many you got. Number 1, scissors.
yes, you said
We
scissors.
said scissors?
I did.
Yeah. Did Brenda not
Scissors
say
are
she
used.
was?
This way.
Wow.
She was doing it.
By the way, I've never had a manicure.
I've never had a manicure.
This is a safe place.
I've not had a
I'm not
manicure.
opposed to it.
Oh, well, I have.
Okay, cool. Number 2, file. We
Yep.
said that. Number 3, emery board. I
Yep.
said
You
that.
said that.
Number 4, glue. Oh, to put the nails on.
Oh,
Oh.
I did not say glue.
Glue. Number 5, soap and water.
Yes.
Okay. Number 6, clippers.
I said nail clippers.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 7, pumice stone.
Pumice stone. We did.
No, I said hot stone. That's different.
So that's
Yeah.
totally different.
Okay.
Number 8, artificial nails.
Artificial nails.
Okay. Number 9, quick dry spray.
Quick dry
No.
spray.
That's
I don't
different
know
than
if that's-
glue.
Uh-uh.
Okay. And number 10, I don't think we said this. I didn't hear it. Toe separators. Which
No.
you would think would be for a pedicure, not a manicurist. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing it wrong.
So we
Wait,
got
that's the same for a
5.
that's the same for a pumice stone. Like, you don't use that for your hands.
I didn't know what a pumice stone was. I just let it.
It's like a rough stone. It's like a sandpaper
your,
rock.
like,
a loofah.
rough feet smoother. So we got 5.
Oh, okay. I said 5. Yes.
You basically won.
Wow. I mean,
I'm glad to know that we know more about Abraham Lincoln than
And manicures.
that feels good.
Yeah.
Feels good. It's okay.
Feels right.
By the way, if that was your inspiration and you need a little, self-care today, sign up, go schedule your manicure. That's okay. All right. That's enough of that.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Speaking of manicurists,
Shane, who's your favorite manicurist? Do you have
that green guy from this Vibrant Conversation deck.
Oh my goodness. All right. So what I have before me in my hands here is the Lutheran Hour Ministries Vibrant Conversation deck. Some of them are more open-ended than others. Some of these conversation starters might be best among a group of people who have a shared faith. Others are a little more broad and inviting. There are 4 suits, as a normal deck of cards has. I don't remember what each of the 4 suits signifies.
I think at this point, nothing.
Okay. No, but it does. I think one of, I don't know, they each have a certain theme.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We could look at it. Wouldn't be too hard to figure out. But on the cards here, there are normal life things: sunshine, cheeseburger, airplane, church, football, flower, turtle, bicycle. And then for some reason, they have like 4 aliens at a kitchen table. So, All right. With that said, we're gonna cut the deck. Brenda's gonna read the card, and then we're gonna see where the conversation takes us.
Okay. The statement question, it says, talk about a time when you had a doubt about God or the Bible. Do you still feel that way? What changed your mind?
Talk about a time when you had a question or doubt about the Bible
or God.
Do you still feel that way? What changed your mind?
Mm-hmm.
It's a heavy hitter off the bat.
Wow. From manicurist.
Yeah, that's a hard pivot, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe I'll throw this out, then I'll stop talking so much. We had our confirmation Sunday service just this last weekend, and one of the things I wanted to emphasize to our students is that to confirm your faith, to say, yes, I believe, doesn't always mean you feel most certain, and that's okay. So I hope that came across to the young people and the rest of the room, that you can have doubts and questions, and that's okay. And I don't know that every Christian or person of other faith has felt that freedom. I think people often feel guilt or insecurity around that. So I think this question is sort of inviting us to share what that insecurity or those areas or that experience might feel like. So I like the question.
Mm-hmm.
That brings up a memory for me from confirmation. I did not go through confirmation as a middle schooler, high schooler. I went through it as an adult, like freshly out of high school. So in my confirmation class, we met once a week in the evenings, and there were people of all ages going through this confirmation class. And I remember towards the end of it, I felt a little embarrassed to bring this up with Pastor, but I felt like I was confessing, like I was admitting, sometimes I have doubts, like sometimes I'm not so sure. And I really appreciate what his response was, because he basically said, like, it's okay. And also, if you can't doubt something that you don't believe at all. So like as an assurance of, if you're feeling like you might not have faith, or you might be struggling with believing, the fact that you're questioning the thing means that you do believe there is a thing, if that makes sense. So I've always remembered that. I appreciated that.
St. Augustine said something similar about grace, like even wanting to believe itself sort of is a grace from God. Like I wish I could believe, like, good, that God's working. Like, that's a gift of God to even want that. When you guys hear that phrase, like doubt, do you have a specific kind of thing you're thinking of? Like, does that mean I doubt there is a God, or I wrestle with this teaching?
I read it more so like wrestling with it than like, oh, this thing came up and I don't believe anymore. Like, doubt. I don't know. I don't know if doubt's like the word that like I would use like in this specific question. I do have something that like came to mind like in regards to it, and I don't know, of different like phases and growing up in life, of different rabbit holes I go down. And at one point I got to like the space rabbit hole of, like the size of galaxies, stars, the universe, and learning more about like light speed and the distance of like a light minute, light day, light year. And to have like a galaxy that's however hundreds of million light years across, and then billions and billions of light years like between galaxies, and just like the vastness of space, and like learning about what is a light year, the time that it takes light to travel in a year. So like if you're looking at a star that's 1 billion light years away, you're looking at 1 billion years into the past, essentially. Because I don't know how to explain it more thoroughly at the moment.
This is Science Talk with Shane.
This is your very educational lesson. But kind of like learning about that, wrestling with like the days of creation, and the world is 2,600 years old or whatever, 5,000, whatever. Kind of learned different points and different, ages and whatever else, and trying to like connect dots of like, well, God created the world then why is, that star hundreds of billions of years old, and like those kinds of things. And like I had other like people in my life to like talk through with things, and some of their kind of theories onto it. The theory itself is like, this is our like man-made like a guesstimation of our scientific process to like guess age and distance and everything. And maybe it's 100% true, maybe not, but it doesn't change like that. That just increases the awe and wonder of how incredible God is. So it's not to say like I ever like have a finalized solution with it, but I'm like, yeah, but it's also not like worth worrying about like the age of the universe that like Christ came to save me.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing you right, Shane, you've described a thing you had feelings of doubt around. How does God's word fit with this data point? Mm-hmm. And you have wrestled with it, and yet maybe you didn't get it solved, and you've sort of learned to live with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you're not gonna die knowing the answers to the universe, like. Yeah. But like we have absolute certainties we've been taught through the Christian faith that like are way more important. And so it's like, yeah, like, like at some point, like I don't care anymore. Like it's not worth like the wrestle and like just to figure out. I don't think it disproves our God by any means. I think it increases his wonder.
Yeah.
I think both science and faith, like science and Christianity, they both require a level of faith, because you weren't there for the beginning of either one and whatever you're learning. So at a certain point, you learn or investigate as much as you can, and then you reach a point where you take that leap. Do I believe this, not fully understanding all the intricacies of it? And have kind of that choice there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it definitely is like kind of a point in my life like I wrestled with. Wasn't absolutely concluding per se, but I don't know. I found comfort in like trying to process it with others at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's it's a constant thing for me of like wrestling with. I don't know. So even today, I was talking to a pastor in Indiana this morning, and just sharing some hard things, and we sort of paused and encouraged each other of, what? On Sunday we celebrated Ascension Day. that Jesus is reigning on his throne, is king over all. And I was just sort of like, yeah, it doesn't feel like it. Like, just like, it's one of those, okay, I trust, I believe, and I also sort of act as if that's not true. So sometimes maybe my doubts are evidenced more in my thinking and feeling and behaving more than something I've sort of, I have a list of objections. It's more of a, I don't know if I actually act like I believe that. That might reveal sometimes my doubts.
Mm-hmm. I think less and less it's doubt. Doubt is the word that covers a big spectrum of things for people.
Yeah.
I would say I've always walked. I haven't walked. You got to pick your right words here. I have lived with certainty that there's a God, but often earlier, less and less as I walk. The doubt was whether or not I was loved by that God.
Yeah.
The doubt was whether or not I was a Christian based on the terms of other people's things. There wasn't a doubt there was a God. It was more of a doubt like, am I in? Am I out? Am I that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so I think like you come across, like you said, you come across certain things and make you consider. So for me, doubt is, this is going to sound weird, doubt is the certainty that I'm wrestling, or that the Spirit is wrestling, however you want to put it, but that I'm wrestling to, like Jacob, wrestling to understand God. The absence of doubt, whether the absence of doubt is certainty that God's there and I'm fine and I don't have any problems, or the absence of doubt is certainty like I'm an atheist, the absence of doubt is more dark than doubt itself in my mind. Whether it's apathy or certainty, doubt to me means the conversation is still going on and you're learning and growing. And God is taking those places and taking irritable people and shaping them in their doubt and saying, somewhere between doubt and certainty lies faith. And some days it's a little bit more towards doubt and a little bit more towards certainty. Mm-hmm. But I think when we inject science in there, it's now trying to reconcile something that's both science-based and not science-based into a system that doesn't lend itself and to scientism, if you will. So Alvin Plantinga is a philosopher who wrote a wonderful book about science and faith and the reasonableness of faith, and talked about naturalism. And if we looked at science like, hey, science is the codification, classification, visualization, understanding of the world around us, that's one thing. But if we're looking at science, like you said, Brenda, as my faith is in all these things of science and atoms and particles and stuff, that's another thing. So I think we depending upon what we place our faith next to, doubt has a place in there. And that's why I'm going off the rails here. That's why it's lovely to come back on a Sunday in a place wherever your doubt is, low, high, or whatever, and be reminded, it's not in me, it's in Him. It's in Him.
Mm. My guess is that's where a lot of, so we're in a Christian community here, obviously, yeah. But I bet a lot of people, our people, feel that doubt. Like if you ask them, is there a God? Yes. Is Jesus God? Yes. Yeah. But like in that moment of, does He love you? Mm-hmm. That's where it's like, well, I hope I've done enough, or all of a sudden we're doubting His promises, not His existence or reality, or even like that the Bible is the Word of God, but is His grace sufficient for you? I
deserve forgiveness for that thing?
And I think also the opposite doubt is there, of this almost like, I doubt the teeth of His law, because of course He just loves me and accepts me for who I am. Jesus died for me and rose for me. Yeah. And so when he speaks about His holy will and His righteous standards, we doubt that He actually means it.
Right.
So, I mean, there's very different ways of using the word doubt. Like, is there a God, or is His love for me? Mm-hmm. I think we a lot of people, 500 years after the Reformation, we've lived in this cheap grace for so long. We doubt that God is allowed to be just. We doubt the fairness of hell. We doubt that there might be consequences for my sin, or that God is, what does it mean He can be genuinely displeased with my choice.
Right.
He just loves me in Jesus and like pats me on the head. Everything's fine. So I think we can really doubt different ways, like law and gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and or that changes us to. I like the words cheap grace, and it changes us to that. Our doubt comes from things that are silly. Where if you went to different parts of the world where Christians are facing a persecution completely different, our doubts come out of things that are not, even tangible in some ways, that we've been under grace so long in these last 500 years living comfortably, that our doubts come from places like, really you're worried because you didn't get the job you wanted or the car you wanted, that you doubt that God loves you.
Yeah. Can God still be good? I prayed so fervently over the lottery ticket last night.
Right. So the doubt,
Yeah.
Theodicy at its finest.
Go to a different place or time, though. It's like, oh, wow, my Christian brother next to me just got beheaded by confessing Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Now where's your doubt? Right? Or does that, Tertullian, okay. The blood of the martyrs built a church. Like, does that, as you're saying, what God can apply in the law, does that bring faith to a different place? Not that I want to be beheaded or beaten, but I think I'm tuning into what you're saying in terms of we don't consider what could be happening to us, either in the world or because of our sin.
Mm-hmm. So how have you guys got to a spot or where you're at? So sometimes maybe our questions, sometimes it feels like they can get answered. Like, hey, actually, here's what the Bible says about this, or here's what, we've discovered from psychology, or like any number of fields where, oh, okay, I had a question. That makes sense. Other times we sort of like live with it. I don't know. Brenda, where are you at with doubts today? Or I'm not, doubt feels like such a weird word. I like wrestling better, by the way. Like, I don't know, struggle.
I think the other way we were talking about doubt, the doubting if God's love is sufficient for me, that kind of a doubt where I'm at with that direction of it, I think it changes based on who I'm spending time with. So I find, depending on the circles I'm with, some people will have a more negative outlook on certain things, whether they're Christian or not. Other times there's people that will speak truth and will speak it in a different way, so that I hear it in a different way, and I'm reminded of true things about God.
Reminded of true things.
Yeah.
I thought you said two things. Like, what are the two things?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think being surrounded by certain people.
Mm-hmm. Is it their words? Is it their, what is it? You say a certain people. That sounds more than just like intellectual information.
Yeah, we need the names and addresses.
No, that's not what I mean.
Have to validate this.
Yeah. So I'm imagining like a parent of a teenager or just a friend. Like, okay, somebody has a doubt. So as pastor, what's the book I can give them to fix that?
To fix their doubt?
Yeah. And what I hear you saying is it's maybe not here's the resource or the website or the YouTube link that fixed it, but there's something about these couple people that's I'm reading into it that's more than their knowledge.
I think if I think through like what are the things like, or what does this person look like, it's somebody who might be further, using like your language, like further in their walk of faith, like they've are maybe more mature than I am. Maybe they are older, somebody who has different experiences and different sets of wisdom than maybe I've been hearing from other people, and they're not afraid to share openly and have these conversations and talk about the real things and talk about the hard things. And having those kinds of conversations, I think, are the times when I kind of walk away processing differently. And it might be something that I've already heard from tons of other people, but just something about hearing it in this different way from this person makes me pause a little bit longer.
Yeah. I very much kind of second like everything you're saying, kind of like processing it now, but just like like things I wrestle with, like I do think like prayer's a big part of it, but I think how I talk to God and how I receive him is different depending on the people I'm with. Like if I'm spending a lot of time with Pastor Dan, like, and we're talking, church stuff, doctrine, theology, whatever it might be, like
I talk about other things too, Shane.
That's it. No.
If I was like a boring pastor, then
no, never anything. But I mean, just using it as like an example, as opposed for like if I'm talking to the bartender, like I'm going to get it, not like I don't want to say, depending on what I might be wrestling with, not a wrong, but a very different perspective. And I'm able to just kind of process those things, like, and kind of bring that to God in the wrestling of it.
I love what you're saying about prayer. I thought you had Dave, maybe you had a comment. Sorry if I cut you off, but I love what you said about kind of praying in that wrestling, because something you were saying, Brenda, made me think of this. But like when somebody is expressing concerns, questions about something, sometimes the other person might try to fix that with their confidence. Like, oh, well, you just got to believe more, or like. I don't know. Like I don't have questions. I don't have doubts. I just trust the Lord. And like their hyper confidence makes it worse sometimes, as opposed to saying, yeah, that is hard. And I don't actually have a good answer. And then I think what the Psalms often do is they just bring the mess to God and let God deal with it. Lord, we don't understand how you made the universe. You say this in your word, and yet we see this, and it's hard to put it together. And we want to trust you, God, and we marvel at what we see. Lord George, show us your truth, and if not, love us in our darkness. Amen.
That us, it's like we're going to wrestle with it together versus like what you're saying, this super confidence where now I'm just left feeling like, oh, I guess if I had just prayed more, if I had believed as strongly as so-and-so, then I wouldn't be going through these doubts or these struggles versus, hey, that is a hard thing, and we can wrestle through that together.
I think we're about to enter Pentecost this Sunday, and like the church aspect of that wrestling, I think is huge. I do believe we need to give time to God one-on-one, and like that is vital in our walk of faith. But like we are the church together. Like we, they like when the church was born, they sold their things, and they entered the church and supported and loved one another, and they were the body of Christ. And not that we aren't today, but like we are today. But like even with that, it's not like merely just like possessions and like, are you like physically well, Dave? Like do you need a meal? You're starving. Oh no, but hey, you're wrestling with this thing, or I'm struggling with this. Let's talk through it. Let's be the body together.
Yeah, I would agree. I think one of the things the church would benefit from the most, but probably does the least, is what I think you're alluding to, which is let me be messy in front of you. I'm not going to mask my doubt. Help me wrestle with that doubt, my brother or sister in Christ. But the church too often is like, oh, doubt. Oh, I don't know if you're in the club. You got doubt, right? So if you are with somebody I like the idea of mature, but it kind of imposes this age kind of thing on it. But there's people that are that have they're in a place of faith that can help you with that doubt, right? And the sharing of all things in common should include in that sharing of my life and the place where I'm at, and lift me up when I'm down, and I'll be strong when you're down, and that kind of thing.
And I liked your acknowledgement there. Sometimes it's maturity.
Yeah.
Immaturity isn't the opposite.
Right.
But there's something maybe beautiful about, I'm having a really hard time, and, my 8-year-old, who's 10 now, but like my little kid can be like, well, doesn't Jesus love you?
Right.
Like, yeah. Maybe that is the end. Like, they're like, I think God can speak through his people in all kinds of ways.
Okay, so you can make fun of me. I'll try not to be vicar-like or whatever. I have this picture when everybody left Egypt, right? There's hundreds of thousands of people, and there was somebody up at the front of the crowd and somebody walking a little bit farther back. Right?
They couldn't all see the pillar of...
Exactly, right? So you're like, oh, I don't know where that pillar went. It's gone. And somebody from the front will go, oh, I just saw it. It was right there yesterday, right? So So there's kids and old people at the front and kids and old people at the back. And it's that whole trail of people that I'm on this journey with that remind me it's okay. He's got us covered. Don't worry about those chariots behind us, right? And who's out in front of me and has seen the glory of God that's saying, come on, get up the hill, that kind of thing. So I like that. Well, it might be kitschy, but I like it as a memory to remember where I'm at in my faith. I'm neither at the front of the pack nor the back of the pack, but Christ walking with me is walking me out of Egypt. Mm-hmm. That maybe sounded too vicar-like, but...
Oh, I love the imagery of that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do any of you have thoughts on what this... Like, how do we do this? So in some sense, we're doing this now, I think. Dave, you said the church hasn't always done this well, and it could be done well. I also get a sense that people have guilt over their doubts. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe that's not a true sense, but that's just, like, if I had to guess, I would guess people feel inferior as Christians because they have questions, or they feel like they're not part of the group. Like, I'd love to, maybe they're like beautiful people, like people who love the Lord and love his word, but because they have real questions, they're not part of a congregation. Like, how do we chip away at this a little bit? That's not just be vulnerable. Like, no, that's too far. It's out of reach.
I think, Brenda, you were pointing to what always comes to me, and I think it's evidenced by my belly, break a meal together, right? Like, how do we sit in each other's homes and just, even before I'm going to show you my mess, hey, what's for dinner? How was your day? And get to a point that that's not weird, and we're not making it like, I'm going to Shane's to fellow. I'm not just going to go to Shane's and have dinner.
I'm going for hot dogs, not fellowship.
Why are you going to Shane's? He's got to cry to me, and he's just talking, and he's so sad.
He's playing bluegrass, right? And so I think the part,
or he promised not to.
Yeah,
one or the other.
To me, it starts at how do we just get past this place of discomfort and live together. And recently, in the last couple of weeks, we bumped into each other at the farmer's market. And it was great. Hey, how you doing? And like, how do we just be bumping into each other at the supermarket or Costco? And it's happened a bunch of weeks. And it just made me happy that, like, hey, and in that, there's a place to grow those places where you can say, hey, I've got doubt about this,
So I want to keep drilling down and making this concrete.
Sorry.
No, it's good. When you say, like, be in each other's homes and have meals, are you picturing find a new person you don't know? Is this, I've got a small circle of people? So to me, the question, and maybe it's not the right question, and maybe this vicarship, it's tedious and it might end, but if you look at yourself and ask, when's the last time I had a meal with somebody in the congregation, and can't answer that like, oh, last week. Or you answer it like, well, yeah, we get together all the time, but it's only a couple of people, then the answer would be different. Okay.
So if I'm having dinner with the same people in the congregation all the time and we have great relationships, fantastic. And you've never had dinner with that couple that sits 2 rows back to the right that you say hi to every Sunday, why don't I ask them over for dinner?
What would that look like?
Do you want to go to dinner?
Okay.
Do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to have a coffee? It doesn't have to be this elaborate thing, but how can I just reach across and say, hey, you want to come over for dinner? And if that's too scary, like for my introvert friends that I hang out with.
Or self or spouse.
Do you want to have a coffee?
Okay.
And if you're new, it's going to be scarier for you. And so if I've been in this church longer, I should be more comfortable. Hey, let's come over for dinner. That's it. Just come over for dinner, or come have a coffee, or come over for hacky sack, but don't invite Micah or
cornhole. Yeah, my son will
beat everybody. He's or invite him, and
Sorry. No, this is not important, but I'm just having a fun visual, like seeing you and Pastor Dan play hacky sack together. That's
awesome. So Brenda over here has a 1-year-old-ish. How many months is Benjamin?
it is June, so he will be 14 months this month.
Okay.
So he's 13 and a half-ish.
So like you've got a toddler, which means it's loud. He's crying. Your house is a mess. I'm just making things up. There's stuff everywhere. I could see with all integrity those things be like, you know what? We're not at a spot to invite somebody over. It's our house. Our life is a lot right now.
I bet there's a family out there with a 1-year-old that would be comfortable with you in that place.
I'm just trying to acknowledge it. Or a sweet, sweet grandpa who loves the sound of kids, or he can turn his hearing aid off if he wants.
Yeah.
Like, how do you hear this? Like, just have somebody over. Like, it's like, yeah, we can do that. Or, oh, that sounds really hard.
No, I feel like we could, especially if we're keeping low expectations all around. Like, it's not going to be super fancy. I have not dusted the baseboards. Like, it's not going to be 100% clean, but clean enough to have people over. We will tidy. But to me, if you're inviting people over, I would hope when I invite people over that the reason they're coming is not to bring a white glove and like see how clean it is, but like the main part is the spending time with each other, because that's what happens to me when I come over to somebody else's home. I really don't see a mess. If there's a mess, I came there to hang out with the person, and I'm in my stage of life, I'm just happy for like adult conversation. So that's what I'm hungry for.
Brenda, you shared something the other day. I forgot how you said it, but something along the lines of like sweatpants friends.
Yeah.
How did you say that?
Yeah, your sweatpants person. That
I love that line.
I learned that from somebody who was part of a previous youth gathering. I forget who said it.
Okay.
But the idea is that find your sweatpants people. These are the people that you can come. You're comfortable. I don't have to dress up for you. You don't have to dress up for me. Our plans don't have to be elaborate. It's I can come and just crash on your couch. I know where the ice cream is in your fridge. I'm just going to hang out with you. I can vent. We can talk. We can not talk. But you are my person, and I can just relax and not feel like, oh no, awkward silence. What do I say?
Yeah.
You're my sweatpants person.
I love that.
That sounds beautiful. It also sounds like 10 steps down. Like I want to keep getting like smaller and smaller and back. Like I want sweatpants people. How do I get there? Can we have a coffee? Do you want to come over we're going to have macaroni and cheese out of the box and hot dogs. And if that works for you, great. If that's not going to be a thing, then this wasn't going to work out anyway.
Low expectations, no expectations.
Lower the bar.
Expectations. And I think just a willingness to want to do life with another person, especially outside of your family. If you were really getting down to like this want to just spend time, because friendships, relationships, it all takes time. It takes more than just the one coffee or even the one meal. But you have to start somewhere. You have to, you did start with the hellos with the person 2 rows back. Like we've said hello a few times. Like, all right, I want to get to know them a little bit more. And eventually building up to all right, you know what? Let's hang out outside of here.
Yep. I think maybe I'm thinking of a starting point and you're thinking a little bit farther. Like the starting point is high. And I think I've had some awkward conversations along the way. You know, you went for coffee and I was like, oh, okay. All right. But it wasn't terrible. It was just like, okay. And then, you know, you can press on. But I think the starting point is, hello, would you love to have a coffee? Would you like to have a coffee? Or what's your, how do you set what I hear you saying, right? That's really a high bar to put on dinner and get the kids ready and get them out the door. Yeah.
As we're describing this, I hadn't thought about this until right now. Maybe it sounds obvious, but if you live in the Puget Sound area, we're recording this today. It's June 3rd, so Shane will get this posted sometime this week. I don't know.
Saturday.
Or
it'll be live on Saturday.
7th. At the end of this month, on Wednesday, June 28th, 5th. There you go. June 25th, here at St. Luke's, we're starting we call it Summer Nights. And so here at St. Luke's, we have this back lot. We have all kinds of names for it. The back 40, the Meadows.
The back 40. That sounds redneck.
Our grassy amphitheater
Yeah,
area.
the space behind the containers. That's less classy. But we have this big field, and basically all summer long, starting on Wednesday, June 25th.
Maybe I have that date wrong.
I
Now
thought
I'm doubting myself.
No, you probably have it right. I can pull it up here on my phone.
Yeah.
But starting on a Wednesday, you're right, June 25th.
Okay, the last Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 6 to 8 p.m., we just it's a space. Come hang out. And there might be, I would say we probably have an average of 50 people there, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a few more. And there's usually a thing that you can gather around. So on 25th, we're going to have an ice cream truck. First one's on us. Mm-hmm. After that, they're on you. We're going to have a concert by Shore Lane, an amazing duo. You can find the music anywhere you find music, shorelane.com. And we also have a half-mile walking path and cornhole and picnic tables where you can just say, I don't think we've met. My name is. And you can leave your spouse or your child with somebody else, or you can bring them with you. And it's a space for conversation that's not somebody's home, because that's maybe a little bit vulnerable.
So maybe that's a wonderful thing, right? Let's just do. So let me reshape what I'm saying. Do something with somebody else. Maybe it's not a dinner. Go to summer nights with somebody else. If you're going,
or show up by yourself.
Or show up by yourself. Yep, and invite somebody. You know that what you do in your rhythms of daily life invites somebody into that rhythm. So whether that's walking the baby or going to summer nights, right? Bring somebody else in there.
I'm even thinking about neighbors that I talk to regularly.
Yeah.
Because their grandkids are our kids' age.
Yeah.
And they don't know my name and I don't know their name. Mm-hmm. But we saw them on a walk last week and they said, oh, are your kids going to be around this summer because our grandkids are coming? And we arranged this like informal play date. But none of us said, by the way, I'm Dan. Can you remind me of your name?
Right.
And this conversation is encouraging me to maybe make a brave step and say, hey, do you guys want to have dinner sometime? You were probably going to eat. We were probably going to eat. We're eating 100 feet apart. We have extra chairs. That's a little bit convicting, but also that seems within reach, I think. Mm-hmm. Not some other neighbors. They intimidate me still, but this lady and her husband.
There's an opening there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm going to write that down. Mm-hmm. Dinner with those people.
Shane, there's a bluegrass festival in July in Seattle. You want to go?
Yeah. Well, he's on paternity leave. I know. Don't give me a well. I might have a child. We'll see.
Really. Well, know. Dave, can I get back to you on that?
I do. I want to more than anything.
Yeah. But something as simple as that, like you said, go to your neighbor and say, you want to come over?
Mm-hmm. This, in some ways, feels far from the card, but it feels it feels real to me. Like if I'm gonna process like vulnerable doubts, like gosh, I just this week I'm really wrestling with God's love for me, or the idea of this thing. I need somebody I trust to have that conversation, and my first conversation with somebody's not going to be that.
Not your first hello bumping into each other at the lobby.
Yeah,
hey, what are you wrestling with God? Good morning.
The person you just met at Starbucks because you played Outburst with them. Outburst is a safer first step than I'm wondering about the existence of hell and how God could be just.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. By the way, what's your name?
Yeah.
But those are important conversations, but there's no fast track to get there. You got to do the boring legwork to get there.
Mm-hmm. There is no fast track. It begins with hi.
Yeah.
It sounds so pithy, I know, but it is. Hi.
My name is. You're going to cue the music, Shane, later? No.
No, we can't get started. All right.
Sorry. Don't endorse everything.
Don't endorse everything.
So one of the things I would say is, why do we doubt that as Christians, now maybe not with my neighbors, but why do I doubt that Christ will not be there if I invite another Christian? Wherever two of you gathered in my name, I'll be there. So, hi, you want to come over for dinner? I don't know. That might not work out. I don't want to have dinner with him. Why are we doubting that?
If he's there, even in the valley of the shadow of death, he could probably be in there at dinner with you and another Christian.
The valley of the shadow of awkward conversation. Right? So,
my grandma, speaking of awkward conversation, she's not a listener as far as I know. That'd be great if you were. I love you, Grandma. But we can't keep her on the phone for more than about 2 minutes. Oh, I'm just awkward. I don't know what to say. I'm not good at conversations. I never know what to talk about. Like, that's just, she said, hi, Grandma, how are you? Oh, hi, Dan. You know I'm not good on the phone. I don't know what to talk about. Grandma, what did you do today? Anyway, so... and if you don't know what to talk about, you can go to lhm.org/households, and you can pick up a copy of the Vibrant Conversation deck. I say these things like we have any interest or like whatever. It'll be posted in the show notes below.
Yes, it is in the link.
There you go.
I've made sure to be diligent with one thing.
And you'll put our Red Bull Soapbox Racing link there?
No guarantees on that.
If I email it to you, will you put it there?
No.
He's honest.
If there's a quality standard, then we're just I don't know.
Maybe if you watch it first, then you'll change your mind.
All 2.5 hours of it.
Watch 10 minutes every night for the rest of the month. You'll thank me.
Will I?
Shane, if you don't enjoy this, you're not the man I thought you were.
Maybe I don't have a soul. I don't know.
I didn't say that, but I will question our friendship and your character.
Oh, hey, man. He's not a yes man. So
no, that is true.
Character.
Yeah, look at me. I'm moving up in the world.
You're just doubting the validity of the content of this YouTube video.
It sounded so heavy.
All right. Brenda, any final thoughts as we wrap up here?
I think what's sticking with me is we didn't say it quite this way, but that there's no fast track to friendships. It takes all the little boring stuff and the awkward conversations and you have to start somewhere. I think especially as adults, it's not the same as when you're in school as a kid and these are your automatic friends because they're your classmates or your teammates. But as an adult, it takes longer. And when you really need a friend, it's not like they're just going to pop out of thin air. Like there needs to have been all of this history first.
It needs to already be there. And what's implied in what you're saying is to process doubts and wrestling, it's good to have a friend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Vicar? Final thoughts?
No, I love the conversation. It starts with hi. I think the ratio of awkward, there was never any mean or bad, but the ratio of awkward to this is beautiful was more in the line with this is really nice. Like when you get to know people, it's worth what you just said. It's worth the time and investment.
Speaking of awkward, Shane, final thoughts for the day?
Oh, thank you.
Can you do it in a Southern accent?
No. Accents are not okay. An outburst, if it has a country or an ethnicity, we can't do it. And accents are never good.
Never good. All right, well, we'll scrap the next game, I guess. No. Something I was sitting with, this isn't kind of my final thought, but more of just a random passing one before the final thought, I guess. I think everyone's got such a strange standard of awkwardness, in their own life, of all right, you're hanging out with this person. I go to Dave's house and we're silent for more than 15 seconds. It must be awkward then, but by whose standard or what means is awkward, and it's awkwardness is purely on the receiver end. It's never. I mean, both people can feel awkward, and that's fair. But awkwardness is okay, because even if we didn't have it, if I was repenting to you, Pastor Dan, it's gonna be awkward to confess my sins, but that's okay. There's certain scenarios where that's all right in the world. Sometimes heavy conversations of question and doubt are hard, and it is awkward, but we need to have those. So that just kind of kept going through my brain of there are awkward things, but that's okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it is hard.
Yeah, sometimes it is hard and awkward and extremely uncomfortable. But Satan doesn't want us to have those conversations. But it's good for the soul to bring this to the church, to your friends, to your loved ones. Maybe not all the time, but there's definitely scenarios where God puts that in front of you. Okay, that was passing thought. more of a final thought that I thoughted.
That you thoughted?
Yes.
thought?
Kip Fox's King's Calling kind of keeps going in my head right now.
It's a song. Kip Fox is a musical artist.
Yes, musical artist, songwriter. He's got a song, "The King is Calling," but in it, sometimes we sing it for a call to worship. But like, come with your questions, come with your doubts, bring them to the Lord. In that aspect of bring it to the Lord in prayer. But even where like two or more are gathered in my name, there I am there also. And I believe that Christ is present when you are having those conversations with people. So come with your questions, come with your doubts, bring them to the Lord, and let him be present in that conversation, like with your friends and family or whoever.
That's awesome. And for a less contemporary and more traditional version, we've got "What a Friend We Have in Jesus."
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Take it to the Lord in prayer.
Take it to the Lord in prayer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are there troubles and temptations? Is there
grief anywhere? Something like that?
Anywhere. Yeah. Whatever. Take it to the Lord in prayer. So
that's good. And as you were saying, Shane, maybe one of my last thoughts here. My last thought. Just be done. You're saying sometimes it is awkward, sometimes it is hard, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. I just want to acknowledge it's good to have friends that start with hi. Sometimes it's hard, and yet like not everybody has to be your person to process really hard things with. Mm-hmm. Some people like, all right, we're not going to be best friends, and that's okay. But you need people. You need people to process with, and it might take some effort, and it might take some awkwardness to get there. And you might realize, you know what, this was not a good hang. Maybe the one person liked the hang and the other person didn't. Like, that's okay. Like, you're not a bad person. Like, hey, do you want to have coffee again? No, no, that's okay. Thank you, but no.
Or
that's
a group
okay.
hang, and you're like, actually, later on, I'm going to just touch base with this one person that I was kind of vibing with, and that'll be my person out of that group.
Yeah, do you want to come to this meal? You know what? That's not my scene. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Like you're not bad, guilty. You're a bad Christian for not participating in every invitation, but don't be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, friends. Thanks for this conversation. This has been delightful.
It's a good card.
Yeah, Brenda, way to go. Well,
good draw.
Six of hearts, ladies and gentlemen. 6 of hearts. That's a winner.
Short cheer.
Short? Oh, that was all right. Just a couple of claps.
Yep.
We're gonna make an effort to be more consistent in recording, at least until Shane gets to hold his child, and then it'll come to a screeching halt because I don't know how the buttons work.
Figure it out.
We have it for as long as we have it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, friends. Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you.
Bye.
That's the end of the episode, but we want to continue the conversation. Continue the conversation by sharing this episode, subscribing, or leaving a review. Connect with us on Instagram at 2414podcast. Connect with us through email at 2414@stlukes-church.com. Or best of all, keep the conversation going by inviting someone to process with you, so that you can each walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. If you happen to be in the Seattle-Tacoma area of Washington, stop by on a Sunday morning and say hi. 2414 is a podcast produced by St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Federal Way, Washington. To find more content, discover upcoming opportunities to connect in person, or to support the show, head on over to stlukes-church.com. Thanks for walking with us.